And now, following your consumer advocate, Craig Sewing, for the 7 p.m. hour. He's a San Diego native, a top-rated real estate professional by the Wall Street Journal, as seen on The American Dream on Channel 4. It's Whistle Time. Your host, Kyle Whistle.
Here we go.
Good evening, good evening. You are listening to Whistle Wednesdays here on AM 1170, The Answer. My name is Kyle Whistle, your host with Whistle Realty, joined as always by my co-host, self-proclaimed Chargers homer. Very, very happy man today, Mr. Jason Hall.
Hey, coming back from a 17-point deficit at halftime, Kyle, we're on a roll. I mean, I know we're only 3-4, but I'm feeling a little bit better because we really could be 7-0. So we're not as bad as you thought we were going to be, but our record is almost as bad as you thought it would be. But I think I had us at 4-3, maybe 5-2 at this point. So we're starting to make a run. So I'm feeling excited.
I'm 5-2 on my picks. I don't know about you, but I've picked 5 out of 7 correctly. The only games I missed was the Jacksonville one and this one.
I still can't believe you had us losing to Jacksonville. That's crazy.
It's an East Coast game. Chargers suck when they travel across.
Jacksonville was
was at home. That's probably
it was a home opener. Right.
That is probably why. But you are a happy man. I think it was proof that the Chargers do not have the worst coach in the NFL. That decision by the Falcons to go for it on 4th down on the wrong side of the field.
In overtime. When they had already announced that Lambeau was hitting from like 62 yards in warmups, and they gave him the ball at what would have been a 60-yard field goal. That was stupid.
You know, looking back at it now, everybody says it's stupid, but if he makes it.
No, it was stupid.
Right, if they make the first down, everybody's like, wow, he believes in his team. He makes it happen.
Stupid.
You know, but you're right. It was stupid. At this level. You know, this is
That's
still
some
the NFL.
stuff the Chargers normally do.
Go Chargers!
They make the stupid plays, but for once, it was not the Chargers making the stupid play.
You know what? I'm still feeling good.
Well, that's good. You should feel good. That's a big win.
Yeah. So who do we got in studio here, Kyle?
So we got a full studio today. We've got Mr. Lawrence Mudgett with Safer Law, also known as Lance, Larry, Lorenzo, the man of many, many names. Welcome back.
Thank you, Kyle. Pleasure to be here.
Good, good. And then we've got JC Agajanian with the Whistle Realty team.
What's up, Kyle?
I know, JC, in the next segment, we're going to talk a little bit. You've got 7 reasons why the holidays are actually a good time to sell a home, despite what people might think.
Stay tuned, folks.
Looking forward to that. And then we've also got Leon Sandoval with Essential Edit. Leon, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
So, Essential Edit, what do you guys do?
Well, here's the thing. Most photographers, portrait and wedding photographers around the world, they grab a camera, they want to get creative, they go out into the world and they start a business. They underestimate how much time is going to be spent at the desk. Okay, there's a lot that goes into creating a professional look when you're a photographer. And so we provide services that free up photographers to go market their business, to go do other things that are more productive for their business. It's the whole concept of working on your business and not in your business. So we do color correction, retouching, album design for photographers all around the world.
I love it. I was blown away because when we got married a few years back, it was very interesting to learn how that side of the industry works, how the person who's actually shooting your photos is oftentimes not the person who's actually editing them and giving you the final product.
Right. Well, the thing about most photographers or most creative people, they want to do their craft, right? So if you're a photographer, you want to go shoot. You want to go book more clients. You want to go out and scout more locations and those kinds of things. But the post-production takes a lot of time, and people underestimate that heavily. So a lot of photographers spend maybe 20 hours editing one wedding. That's like, almost 3 times as much time that they spent actually shooting the wedding, which is kind of insane. And the thing is, most photographers aren't the best editors either. They don't get to spend every day editing at the computer. It's just not why they became a photographer.
I love it.
And so our service is a quick turnaround time, 3 to 5 business days. Most photographers are delivering their clients to their files within like 3 weeks or more when it's busy season.
Yeah,
so
I was blown away by how long that took on our wedding.
Yeah.
You're like, why? You just shoot the photos. I shoot photos. I take them with my cell phone. They look great. You know, I put it on Instagram, use a filter, we're golden.
Exactly.
It just doesn't work that way with weddings.
Well, most wedding photographers come home with maybe 2,500 or 4,000 photos. And they've got to cut that down to the best 700 or 800. That way you as the groom don't feel overwhelmed when you go look at the gallery, right? They're going to pick the 700 best or the 500 best. Somebody's got to do that work, you know? And then to make it clean and consistent from beginning to end, make the color look beautiful, make you look your best. And there's a lot of thought that goes into that, a lot of technique that goes into that. And photographers can get by for the most part. They can get it done, but maybe they're not the best to do it. Maybe their time is more valuable by going out and working with other vendors and talking with other vendors so that they can get more referrals for their business, going out and taking better care of their existing clients and making sure that those clients refer them as well because they got a high level of service instead of being chained to the computer and doing that kind of tedious work of post-production.
I was going to say tedious is like the word that comes to mind. So a lot of weddings will come back with over 2,000 photos. That's kind of standard.
Oh, easily. If you're a single photographer, you'll come home with maybe 2,500 photos from the day. If you've got a second shooter, you're definitely coming home with about 4,000 images from the day. And something changed back from when we shot film. You shot way less photos because film was expensive. Well, now it's digital. It's free. You can fill up a card all day long, no cost to you. Well, the cost is actually time because when you come home with 4,000 photos, you've got to get them all downloaded. You got to get them all sequenced and make sure it's all in the timeline properly. And then somebody's got to go through them and find the best. And then they've got to do the color correction and retouching.
So just the selection of the photos is probably one person's job.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy.
Kyle, it makes me think of the way we format our company with a team mentality, right? So, you know, people like you and I go out, we negotiate deals, and we really make sure that our clients are getting the best price for their property. And then we have people who handle the paperwork. We have people that do the marketing. We have people that are professional photographers. Leon, tell me if I'm wrong here, but it seems like he's bringing that team to an individual photographer who may or may not have the wherewithal to hire it in-house.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's the same concept. I mean, I don't love numbers. I've never been gifted in math. And so for me to do my taxes is maybe not the smartest use of my time, right? It's going to take me a lot longer than it would somebody who's really good at doing taxes. Right. It's the same concept. Every business has to figure out every business owner needs to figure out what their strengths are and play to those strengths. So instead of getting your report card and focusing on that one C when you got 4 or 5 A's, let's focus on those A's and let's go kill it, right? And then you figure out how do you bring into your team those people who are A players in their regard, right? Like you guys have Brian, who's an amazing photographer, right? And he's killing it with all the media that I see him produce. It's amazing. It's great, right? But if you tried to do it, it might work, but it wouldn't be as awesome as if Brian did it.
He likes to borrow my $5 tripod, though. He's got these fancy, like, $500 tripods, and they're all heavy and bulky and take up all this room. He likes my $5 eBay tripod that I've got.
I love it.
I think it's a bipod. Yeah, I think one of the legs broke off like the first time I used it. But Brian's jealous of my photography gear. I know he's a big Nikon fan, too. So again, you're listening to Whistle Wednesdays here on AM 1170, The Answer. We're talking with Leon Sandoval, Essential Edit. Leon, what kind of people do you typically work? So you mentioned wedding photographers. What other type of photographers do you work with?
It can be any style of photographer. Portrait photographers. We have portrait photographers who focus purely on families. Those who work specifically with senior portraits, and those who do pets and boudoir and everything that you can think of when it comes to photography. But by far the clients we serve the most are wedding photographers, just because the volume is so much higher. You know, when someone comes home from a portrait session, they may only have 300 images. And so it's pretty easy for someone to sit down and go, I can get through this, you know. But wedding photographers by far just have that huge burden over on their shoulders to clear out those images. So mostly wedding photographers.
And you mentioned senior photography.
Yeah.
Can you hook Jason up with some senior photos of him and his wife of 25 years, 26 years now?
You bet.
26 years Jason has been with his wife. It's pretty amazing. And she takes a lot of photos.
She does take a lot of photos. But yeah, 26 years, been married to my high school bride. We got married when we were both 20 years old, guys. So I am not quite a senior, although I am the oldest guy usually in studio.
And when he got married, I think was when they still had like dark rooms for the photos, and you had to go and like put them in the little magic formula, and the photos would show up. They didn't have that digital stuff back in your day. So, Leon, if somebody wants to connect with you, what's the best way?
The best way is to just shoot me an email personally. I love getting emails from people. I've been on other podcasts and things like that. I loved getting personal emails asking specific questions. So leon@essentialedit.com. My website is essentialedit.com. And you can find me on the socials under the same tag.
So if somebody goes on the website, there's a huge gallery, I'm assuming, of thousands of these photos that you guys have edited.
Not thousands of photos. I keep it clean and concise.
Yeah.
I just want to show you what we can do.
Okay.
And there are samples there where you can see those. But
Before
certainly.
and afters.
Yeah, 100%. And of our designs, our album designs, and some retouching samples as well.
Awesome. Good stuff. Again, that's Leon Sandoval. If you want to connect with them, essentialedit.com or leon@essentialedit.com. Leon, thanks for joining us. We're going to head to a break. When we get back, want to talk with JC Agajanian, the Whistle Realty team. The holidays are coming up. The media says it's not a good time to sell, but JC says it is, and we're going to get into the reasons why. You're listening to Whistle Wednesdays here on AM 1170, The Answer.